I remember putting my life on the line for my people, and they was like, "God, we with you." Everybody was cheering and rooting. Guess it turns out that everybody was you. Only the real gon' relate, so the real see through it. The chosen, third eye open, so you can never fool it.
Peace reflections. You are over here with Tarethia. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button because we are here for another video. Okay. Now we are here to talk about the transcripts concerning Rashad Jamal. So make sure to give me a thumb up. Okay. Now, if you are new to the crew and you missed day one, I have some disclaimers to give you. All right. Now, under this video reflection, I have no problem with you getting in the comments saying what it is that you need to say, expressing what it is you need to express. But please keep in mind to watch the things that you say. If you feel like that you cannot express yourself using words, then maybe you should use emojis because I do not want you to say something that would cause you to get blocked. Okay, reflection. This is not a debate type of video. All right. This is a video where I am here giving commentary and you come up with your own conclusion. Okay. I am not here to make you a believer, all right? One thing about the truth, you can find the truth even in a cloud full of illusions, okay? You can find a lie within a truth and you can find the truth within a lie. Okay? Remember, we are on the planet of duality, all right? Now, with that being said, reflection, if you missed day 1, we actually were talking about the charges that were actually brought up against Rashad Jamal. Okay. Now, in day 1, we changed the names of the characters that are involved in the transcripts, that are involved in the case, because a minor was involved. So we definitely want to protect the identity of the minor. Okay, reflection. So, with that being said, when I speak of a mystery, that is Rashad Jamal's baby mom. That's his alleged baby mother. Okay. Now, when I speak of Gabrielle, that is her daughter who accused Rashad Jamal of these accusations when they were staying together. Okay. So now you have a backstory on who I'm talking about. All right. Now, if you have the transcripts in front of you, we're jumping head first in reflection. Okay, so give me a thumbs up. All right, give a thumbs up so we can let everyone know we're over here talking about these transcripts. We have the receipts. Okay, so with that being said, reflection. In day 1, let's go over day 1 just a little bit. I want to give you a little summary of day 1 for everyone who missed it so we can you'll kind of know what's going on in day 2. All right. So in day 1, Gabriella actually told us about these 2 incidents that actually occurred. Now, she said one incident concerning Rashad Jamal actually happened when she was in the dining room area when she was folding clothes. Okay. She said she was on the floor folding clothes in the dining room area. Now, another incident actually happened while she said her mom was grilling. She said her mom was inside the apartment complex building. She was grilling hot dogs. Okay. A mystery, which is her mother, which is Rashad Jamal's alleged baby mother. Okay. So, with that being said, reflection, let me tell you how the apartment is set up for everyone who is new. All right. And or you just missed day 1. Now, in this apartment, there is a master bedroom. All right. Now, in the master bedroom, if the door is open, then right next to the master bedroom, you have the dining room. Okay. And right next to the dining room, you have the kitchen, which is all connected. Okay. So if the master's bedroom is door is open, you can see in the dining room area and you can also see into the kitchen, vice versa. If the master's bedroom is open and you're in the kitchen or the dining room area, you can see into the master's room as well. Okay. So all of this is key. On the next video, I'll probably try to have a better visual layout, but as of now, reflection, I think those are the most 3 rooms that are important for you to know how the layout was. Okay. So with that being said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you have, because keep in mind, we are just on page 64. We're just on page 64 reflection, and this is a 900-page transcript. So we're finna get into the nitty and the gritty, and you don't want to miss out on these videos. Okay. So with that being said, reflection, now that I got the disclaimer out the way, you know what kind of transpired and happened in day one. Let's go on to day two. Okay. And if you have the transcripts with you, then I'm starting on page 64. If you don't worry about it. I'm going to break it down enough for you. Okay, reflection. So again, when his baby mom's name is a mystery, and her daughter who accused Rashad Jamal is Gabrielle. All right. So now the attorney is coming and they're about to do their cross examination from day one. All right. Now the attorney says, "Good afternoon, young lady. How are you?" Gabriella says, "I'm good." "You've got to speak up because I can't hear you, okay?" Gabriella repeated and said, "I'm good." The attorney said, "Okay, my name is attorney such and such, and I hear that you like to be called Gabriella. Is it okay if I call you Gabby too?" She said, "Yes, ma'am." The attorney went on to say, "All right, cool, perfect. Well, it's nice to meet you, Gabriella. How many times have you talked to someone from the prosecutor's office? That's the people sitting at this table." "I would like to say more than twice," she answered. "More than twice?" "Yes." "Okay, how many times did you talk to your mom about this?" She answered, a couple times." They asked, "A couple like two or more?" She answered, "More." "More than two?" "Yes," she answered. "Okay, and what about your sister?" "One time." "And was that the one time when all of this came out?" "Mm-hmm," she answered. They asked, "Okay, have you talked to any of your friends?" "One of my friends." "One of your friends. Okay. Yeah. So you've talked about the situation a number of times, right?" asked the attorney. She answered, "Yes." "Since it happened, right?" She answered, "Yes." "Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about your relationship with your mom, a mystery. You talked to your mom, right?" She answered, "Yes." "And you guys were close, correct?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "Okay, and you share important things with your mom?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "Okay, and your mom is who you actually live with?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "And you still live with your mom now?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "And your dad, he lives somewhere else?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "And you love your mom?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "Okay, let's talk about your sister. You and your sister, were y'all close too?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "And you also talked about things that were going on with you?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "Okay, your sister's older than you, right?" She said, "Yes, ma'am." "So you looked up to your sister?" She said, "Yes, ma'am." "I'm a big sister too, so I have younger siblings as well. So you admire her as well?" she asked. She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "Okay, and you listen to her?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "Okay, so your relationship with your brothers and you and Rashad Jamal's son, y'all were really close?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "I think you mentioned that you never really been away from him, right?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." Now let's stop right here. When she is speaking of Zaza, and the only reason I'm putting this name is because it's already out here. When she which is Rashad Jamal's alleged son. So when we speak of Zaza, she is speaking of her younger brother, and she is also speaking of Rashad Jamal's son. Keep in mind, this is a mystery's daughter, but this is not Rashad Jamal's daughter. Okay, so let's keep it going. Now, the prosecutor asked, the attorney asked, "I think you mentioned that you had never really been away from him, right?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "So he was what, two at the time?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "So for 2 whole years, you and Zaza has always been together, is that right?" She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "Okay, so you and your brother, were y'all close too?" She's talking about her older brother, who is not Rashad Jamal's son. Keep in mind, a mystery had other children besides the child that she allegedly had with Rashad Jamal. So let's keep it going, okay? All of this is important. She answered, "Yes, ma'am." "You actually shared a room with him." She's asking Gabrielle, did she share a room with her older brother and I'm not going to put out his name. And she answered, yes, ma'am. Okay. She said, how long did you all share a room together? And she said, I think for like 2 years. Okay. So she said 2 years. All right. And the prosecutor asked for 2 years. She said, mm-hmm. Okay. So y'all spent a lot of time together. She didn't say anything. Okay. And Zaza was a baby, since Zaza was the baby of the family, would you help your mom change the diapers? She answered, yes, ma'am. You would help her feed him? She answered, yes, ma'am. So you were kind of like, I won't say a second mom, but you played motherly roles towards Zaza. Is that correct? She answered, yes, ma'am. And with this whole situation about Rashad not bringing Zaza back, did that upset you? She answered, yes, ma'am. Because you and your brother spent so much time together. She answered, yes, ma'am. And you were afraid that you may never see Zaza again. She answered, yes, ma'am. Okay. You talked about your relationship with Rashad. You met him because he was dating your mom. He was your mom's boyfriend at the time, right? She answered, yes, ma'am. Okay. And he moved into the home with your family, right? She answered, yes, ma'am. Because your mom allowed him to do that. She said, I don't know. She asked, okay. And you said that you called him Pops, right? She answered, yes. And he called you Pocahontas, right? She answered, yes, ma'am. Have you seen Pocahontas? She answered, I've seen the movie. You seen the movie? She answered, yeah. So do you know what Pocahontas looks like? She answered, yeah. The prosecutor went on to ask, you don't think that you look like Pocahontas? She answered, no, I do not. They asked, you don't think so? She answered, mm-mm. They asked, okay. And you indicated when the prosecutor was talking to you that you saw your dad pretty often, right? She answered, yes, ma'am. But you rather spend time at your mom's house. Is that correct? She said, no. They asked, that's not how you felt? She said, mm-mm. They asked, okay, well, let's walk through your conversation with the prosecutor. First, I want you to tell me, I'm going to show you the layout that the prosecutor gave you. I think this is State Exhibit 1, and I want you to write on here where everyone lived at the time of the incident, okay? She answered, mm-hmm. Okay. So after this reflection, let's stop and let's talk about this for a minute, okay? Now, with that reflection, as you will notice in day one, I could have sworn she said that she hadn't seen the movie Pocahontas. She hadn't seen the movie Pocahontas. Or maybe she said that her and Rashad Jamal hadn't watched the movie together. Definitely go in day one and check that out. I don't quote me on that, but I'm so sure that she said that she hadn't seen Pocahontas. But in the cross examination, she is saying that she has seen the movie Pocahontas, but she don't know why she didn't feel like that she looked like Pocahontas. Okay, because keep in mind in day one, the name of it was Pocahontas. And when they asked her what did Rashad Jamal ever done anything to make her feel uncomfortable, she said that he called her Pocahontas. Okay. So she's saying that she has, in this cross-examination, she said that she had seen the movie Pocahontas, but she felt as if she did not look like Pocahontas. Okay. So I thought all of that was key. Let's keep going. Okay. Now we're actually, if you have the transcripts, we're actually going to jump down a little bit. Okay. We're actually going to jump down a little bit, and we're going to get into the master's bedroom a little bit. All right. So with that being said, let's keep going. Okay. We're going to jump to page 71. We're going to jump to page 71. All right. Now, she says, okay, Gabriella, so I just had you mark what room everyone lived in at the time of these incidents occurred. So if you turned around and look at it, you indicated that the bedroom to the far right, that's where you and your brother lived at, right? She said, mm-hmm. Keep in mind, her and her brother, her older brother, they shared a room, she said, for almost 2 years. So let's keep going. And at that time, the bedroom that your mom and Rashad Jamal lived in or slept in was the bedroom right there. She answered, yes. And then the master bedroom, is that bedroom empty? She answered, yes. Okay, so tell me about the hide and go seek. You said that you played hide and go seek with your brother, right? She said, yes, ma'am. Okay, and when you hid by yourself, right? She said, yes, ma'am. Where was your brother? I think my brother was in the kitchen. That's where that was his hiding spot. She answered, yes, ma'am. Okay, no, the prosecutor asked her, that's where was that his hiding spot? And she answered, yes, ma'am. She went on to ask, okay, and just you and your brother played hide and go seek? She said, no, ma'am. She said, who else played hide and go seek? She said, Rashad. She asked, okay, and where was his hiding spot? She said, the same as mine. Now, this is very important, reflection. In day one, I could have sworn that she said that she would hide alone. I thought she said that she hid alone when she played hide and seek. Now she's saying that her hiding spot was the same as Rashad Jamal's during the cross examination. Keep in mind, this is day two. Let's keep going. Now, she asked, okay, even though you hid alone, keep in mind, remember, she said that in day one that she would hide alone. No one would hide with her. Okay. So this is the attorney, they're asking her. They said, okay, even though you hid alone, she said, yes, I went in another spot, like the closet in my mom's room, and he also came in the closet. She asked, okay, but those aren't the instances that you told us about today, right? And she said, uh-uh. Okay, so that's not the incident that you told us about today? She said, yes, ma'am. Okay, so you told us today was that the first time you were folding clothes, right? She said, yes, ma'am. And where were you folding clothes? I was folding clothes in the dining area, like by the laundry room. Okay, so I was right there. Okay, and you said no one was in that room. She said, uh-huh, yes, ma'am. Okay, and you said that's the first time that something like this has happened to you. She said, yes, ma'am. And so you're standing there folding clothes, and I'm sitting down on the floor with the clothes, she said. Okay, so when the prosecutor asked her was she standing folding clothes, she's made it clear that she wasn't standing. She was sitting on the floor folding clothes when the first incident happened in the dining room area. Keep in mind, between the dining room area, you have the kitchen and you have the master bedroom. Okay, let's keep going. The prosecutor went on to ask, okay, so you and your clothes are on the floor. She said, yes. That that you just washed, and you're sitting on the floor and you're folding them, right? She said, yes, ma'am. Okay, and where's Rashad? I think he walked from the room that my mom was in, like where I marked it. Mm-hmm. And came and talked to me. Okay, and you guys were just talking while you were sitting on the floor? She answered yes. And so that means he was where? Was he sitting on the floor? She said, yes, ma'am. Okay. And then you said that's when he told you to blank, blank, blank. Keep in mind, we are on the internet. She answered, put my hands on blank, blank, blank. They asked, okay. And that was on top of the clothes? And she answered, yes, ma'am. She went on to ask, and you said your mom was in the room next to the master's room. So it would have been the room that the room your mom and Rashad Jamal slept in? She said, yes. Okay, and your mom was doing what? My mom was sleeping. So she said her mom was asleep, allegedly, when this happened. Okay, so what time of the day was this? She said it was at night. Okay, you told the prosecutor today that Rashad Jamal said something to you after, right? She said yes. And what did he say? That he didn't want me to be afraid to blank, blank, blank right there. She said, okay. And then what? How did that end? I got up and I went to my room, she answered. What happened to the clothes? I left them there. Okay, you said to the prosecutor as well that after the situation, he told you that your mom would be mad, right? She answered, yes, ma'am. Okay, and he said it that time to you? Yes, ma'am. Okay, and at that time, you didn't say anything to your mom? Yes, ma'am. Okay, you said the second time your mom was at the grill, right? Now she's speaking of the second incident. Remember, the first incident happened allegedly in the dining room area. And she said that the second incident happened while her mom was grilling. So let's talk about that. Okay, so this was at during the daytime now? She answered, yes, ma'am. Okay, and the grill is maybe like a few steps from, so the grill, uh-huh, is, so it's at the park. So the way my apartment is set up, there's a pool and then there's a park. So all of this is located in the middle. So I would say you would have, it's like it's not like a long walk. It's just you walk straight up there, but you can't actually see. Okay, and you were supposed to go with your mom, but you didn't go. She asked. Yes, ma'am. Your brother didn't go either, she asked. Yes, ma'am. And you all, you said, were in trouble, right? She answered, yes, ma'am. You and your brother were in trouble because you guys were caught watching inappropriate videos on the internet, right? She answered, no, ma'am. Okay, but you remained home and your brother remained home, right? She answered, yes, ma'am. And Rashad also remained in the home. She answered, yes, ma'am. Okay, and you said that your brother was in push-up position because he was in trouble. She answered, yes, ma'am. And he was in that push-up position in a different room? No, he was in the dining area, like right in the dining area. Okay, so she said when her mother went to the grill, that her brother was in the dining room area in push-up position. Remember, her and her brother had got in trouble for allegedly, now this is alleged, watching inappropriate videos. Okay, so let's keep it going. But she just answered and she said, no, that's not true. When the prosecutor just asked her, did they, were they in trouble, why were they in trouble, she said in day one, she said she didn't remember why they were in trouble. Remember, now in the cross-examination, the prosecutor asked her, was she in trouble because they were what her and her brother were caught watching inappropriate videos. Keep in mind, at the time of this incident, she was 11 years old. Okay, so let's keep it going. Now they went on to ask, okay, so you were in the master's bedroom? She answered, yes, ma'am. Okay, so there's two squares that's on the master bedroom. What are those squares? The bedroom and the closet. Okay, where's the door? The door is right in the middle. Okay, so in the master bedroom, the door is in the middle. Then you have the bedroom, the bathroom, and then you have the closet. Okay, and I'm guessing it's all connected within their room. All right. So she went on to ask, okay, so you and your brother would have been in the dining area outside the door. Yes, ma'am. Okay, and he was in push-up position. Yes, ma'am. And you and Rashad, you say, were in the master's bedroom? She answered, yes, ma'am. So she's in the master bedroom. Her and Rashad Jamal are allegedly in the master's bedroom. Her brother is in the dining room area, which is connected, which, if the door is open, you can see into the master bedroom. He's in the dining room area, okay? Allegedly in push-up position. So let's keep going. Now you kind of have a visual of what's going on. All right. So let's keep going, reflection. Hit the like and subscribe button. We're over here talking about the transcripts and everything that transpired through Rashad Jamal's case. If you just came in, the disclaimer is do not get in the comments saying outrageous things because I will block you. It's not a debate, it's not a negotiation. Okay. So with that being said, let's keep going, reflection. Now, she went on to ask, okay, so from the master bedroom, you see into the dining room area. She said, yes, ma'am. Okay, so you said that while your brother is in push-up position, you and Rashad Jamal are in the bedroom. And y'all were talking about the second time you said this happened to you, right? She said, yes, ma'am. Okay. And you told the prosecutor that he told you to blank, blank, blank so that you could get out of trouble? She answered, yes. Okay. And you guys again were in the master bedroom and it was empty. She answered, yes, ma'am. Now, this is key. Anybody who have ever been in an empty room, have you ever been in an empty room? Everything echoes in an empty room, reflection. I don't know if you've ever been in an empty room, but any little thing that happens in an empty room, it echoes because the room is empty. Okay. Let's keep going. All these details are important. So let's keep going. Now, she said that her and Rashad Jamal is in this empty master bedroom. Her brother is in the dining room area. If this door is open, you can see the dining room area from the master bedroom, and you can see the master bedroom from the dining room area. Let's keep going, okay? Now it says, okay, and you guys again were in the master bedroom and it was empty. Yes, ma'am. The only thing in there was an exercise bike or something. She answered, yes, ma'am. Okay, so when you were in the room, where were you? She said that she was by the window. No, she said we were by the window. So her and Rashad Jamal allegedly were by the window. And were you sitting? She said that they were standing up. Okay, you were standing up? She said, yes. Okay, and where was Rashad? Also by the window. And what was he doing? Standing up. He was standing up, she asked. She answered, yes. Okay, and I believe you said on direct that he pulled his blank, blank, blank down. She said, yes, ma'am. So tell me about how all of this transpires when you get in the room. She answered, so basically, how this transpires is I walk in the room. He goes, I don't know how we got in trouble, but we got in trouble. So basically, he tells me that if I like touch there, that I would get out of trouble. So, okay, basically, he tells me that I would get out of trouble if I touch blank and blank blank. And he basically told me to put my hand blank, 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 close my hand blank, blank, blank. And that's how, because it happened so quick. So, okay. And then, so you said it happened quick. So, when you say quick, are we talking about seconds? Asked the prosecutor. Like me getting to that situation, it just like a minute, she answered. Okay, from the time you were in trouble to yes, ma'am. So she said that from the time she got in trouble, her and her brother jumped in the master bedroom, got by the window reflection. She is alleged that all of this happened within minutes. Okay, let's keep going. We are on page 79 for anybody who has the transcripts. Who don't, I'm just taking you into the courtroom. We are fly on the wall. We get nosy and check reflection. Okay. Hit the like and subscribe button. We are over here for day 2, the master's room. Okay. Now it says, okay, and you said in that moment that you said he told your hand was like this. She answered, yes, ma'am. Okay, you said it ended with white stuff coming out of the volcano, right? She answered, yes, ma'am. And you told the prosecutor that you later learned what that white stuff was, right? She answered, yes, ma'am. And who told you what that white stuff was? She asked. I don't remember. I honestly do not remember who told me. She answered. Okay, but it came about when you were having conversations with other people, right? She answered, yes, ma'am. She asked, and those other people or other persons said that's the scientific word, which starts with the S and N with an N reflection. We are over here on the internet. It starts with an S and it ends with the N. It came up out of the volcano, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, when she went, let's stop for a second. Let's talk about it. She was 11 at the time of this incident. She did Gabriella, which is a mystery's daughter, which is Rashad baby mom's daughter. Okay, this is not Rashad's daughter. It's his baby mama daughter. Okay, she was 11 at the time, and she said that she later learned what that stuff that came out of the volcano was, and she learned the scientific, not the hood name, not the slang name, not the street name. She learned that it was the scientific name for it, which started with an S and end with an N. Okay, now let's keep it going. Now the prosecutor asked, and those other people, the other person, they said that it was such and such and such. She answered, yes, ma'am. Okay, so you didn't know what blank blank was. You didn't know it was blank 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 until someone told you that it was blank blank blank. She said, yes, ma'am. And can I say something? Uh-huh. He basically told me that this was like he was going to call it energy. That's basically what he called it. He's like, oh, this is releasing energy to me. This is what Gabrielle told the prosecutor. The prosecutor went on to, I mean, the attorney went on to say, and you told the prosecutor on the stand, or before we went to lunch, you told him that Rashad didn't say anything to you after you went in the room. She answered, this was before, like all of that. This was before. The prosecutor asked, okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. He basically told me this is like releasing energy and all that. And I was going to help him release energy. That's what he said before. The prosecutor asked, okay, and getting in trouble and getting in the room happened in a split second, right? She said, yes, ma'am. Okay. And you said that he wiped it up? She said, yes, ma'am. And he didn't say anything, right? No, ma'am. And you went to the bathroom because you felt dirty. She said, yes, ma'am. I went to wash my hands. And you felt dirty because you touched him? She said, yes, ma'am. She said, okay. And that was the only reason why you felt dirty? She said, and yes, ma'am. She said, okay. And you said you don't know what Rashad did after that, right? She said, yes, ma'am. And you don't remember what you did after that, right? She said, yes, ma'am. All I had was wash my hands. You don't remember how the rest of the day went? She said, no, ma'am. Okay. And you indicated on when the prosecutor was talking to you that this touching happened only 2 times, right? She said, yes, ma'am. The 2 times you shared with everyone today, right? She said, yes, ma'am. And you talked about the next time that you had a conversation with Rashad or the next time you spoke to Rashad. So the first time you talked to him, you said you were in the hospital, right? She said, I had just gotten home. Okay, let's stop right there. We're going to stop right there, reflection, okay? Because this is going into part two. This is going into part three. Um, when Rashad Jamal had actually moved out. Okay. Now let's go back and let's do a summary of some things because some things kind of changed from day one, I noticed. Okay, let's kind of talk about some things that kind of changed during day one. All right. Now we may even go a little further. We may go a little bit further. I may even come back tonight for a part two when we talk more about this. But I noticed, reflection, in day one, she said that she felt dirty. Okay, she felt dirty. But when they asked her why did she wash her hands? She didn't say because anything was necessarily on her hands after the volcano erupted. She said that just because she felt like her hands were dirty. Now, that was very interesting to me. Someone who, reflection, maybe have engaged in a activity or two, it made me wonder how none got on her hand. That made me wonder, but I don't, I wasn't there. Okay. Now another thing was the hide and seek incident. Okay. When they were playing hide and seek, she was stating in day one that she would hide alone in the closet. But in day two, she's saying that Rashad Jamal would hide in the closet with her. Okay. And not only that, as we go on, reflection, you're going to you're going to notice some things. Okay, you're going to notice some things. And it was very strange to me as well when she was talking about releasing energy. Okay, when she was talking about releasing energy, keep in mind, 11-year-old has no idea about releasing energy, reflection. They just don't know. They don't know about releasing energy. And especially if that was your first time hearing someone talk about releasing energy. Okay, that was very detailed when she was talking about not only releasing energy, she kind of spoke about the process of releasing energy, like, you're helping me release energy. I thought that was something that was strange. Okay, so let's actually, you know what, I think I want to keep going just a little bit more. Let's keep going a little bit more. Okay, now she was actually going on to talk about how she had just got out of the hospital. All right, when she just got out of the hospital, keep in mind, Rashad Jamal has now moved out. He's not staying with them anymore. Okay, so let's talk about that. All right, she said, I had just gotten home. The prosecutor asked her, okay, and he wasn't calling to talk to you. He was talking to Zaza, right? She answered, yes, ma'am. She went on to ask, and in talking to Zaza, he just asked you, or he said he heard that you were in the hospital. Are you doing better? Okay, so she had been in the hospital. Keep in mind, Rashad Jamal and her mom, they're not together. Well, they don't stay together anymore. So her mama, Mr. and Rashad Jamal, they don't stay together anymore. She has went to the hospital because she has diabetes. Okay, so when she went to the hospital, I'm guessing when Rashad Jamal called to check on his son, I guess his baby mom had told him, hey, Gabriella had been in the hospital. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, so let's keep going. So when Rashad Jamal called, he wasn't calling to talk to her, but he did hear that she was in the hospital. So let's see how this conversation went. Now she says, and in talking to Zaza, he just asked you, or he said he heard that you were in the hospital. Are you doing better? She said, yes, ma'am. Basically, my both of my brothers were talking to him, and I was trying to avoid the phone, but he saw me in the camera. So yes. Okay. And you spoke to him though? She said, yes, ma'am. Okay. And that was the first time that you talked to him since he left. She said, yes, ma'am. And at that point, you didn't say anything to your mom about the situation, right? She said, yes, ma'am. Okay. So the second time you talked to Rashad, you said that was when he picked up Zaza, right? She said, yes, ma'am. And when he picked up Zaza, Rashad didn't go in the house, right? She said, no, ma'am. So you came out of the house to talk to Zaza? I mean, to Rashad, right? She said, no, ma'am. So how did you talk to Rashad? The only thing would be is when I came outside with my little brother. So like when we were taking him outside, so that's it. And then I would just say hi to him and his mom. Okay, so his mom was there. She answered yes. And you spoke to his mom? She answered yes. And you spoke to Rashad? She answered yes. And then Rashad left, right? She answered yes. And then when Rashad left, you didn't tell your mom anything about the situation, right? She answered, no, ma'am. Okay. You told your mom after Zaza was gone, right? The next day. The next day after he left, she said yes. And so the phone call that you referred to when the prosecutor was talking to you, that happened the same day that Zaza left, right? She said, yes, ma'am, at night. At night. Okay. And the next day you talked to your mom about what happened. She said, yes, ma'am. Okay. And at that time, when you talked to your mom, you guys were trying to figure out how to get Zaza back, right? She said, okay. So the situation is, I didn't even know what was going on with my mom and Zaza at the time. I was just telling my mom what happened to me. So, okay. So the second time that you have a conversation with Rashad, the next morning you wake up and you decide that you're going to tell your mom what happened to you. She said, yes, ma'am. Okay, you said that when you told your mom, she fell out on the floor. She said, yes, ma'am. Okay, so that morning you left your bedroom and your mom was in the living room. She said, yes, ma'am. And then, so you saw her in the living room, and that's when you decided to talk to her? She answered, I had decided like at night after the whole phone call that I was going to tell my mom because I couldn't just keep it held in anymore. So the next morning, that's when I told her. Okay, you said that your sister was walking in the door. She answered, yes, ma'am. Is that the front door? Front door, yes. So your sister wasn't in the house? No, ma'am. So it's just your mom, you, and your brother in the house? Yes. She also was on the phone with his sister. She's talking about Rashad Jamal's sister. So when the incident, let's stop and pause right for a second. So when the incident went on, keep in mind Rashad Jamal don't stay there no more. He done moved out for whatever reason, reflection. She done went to the hospital concerning her condition. When she get home, keep in mind, let's back a little bit. Rashad Jamal, but keep in mind, this is something that's strange to me. Keep in mind, she said she was on the phone with Rashad Jamal um after the after her brother. I'm trying to figure out, was she on the phone with Rashad Jamal before she went to the hospital or after she went to the hospital? Because she said he asked her about the incident when she went to the hospital. Okay. But she also said that Rashad Jamal called to talk to Zaza. Okay. So if he called to talk to Zaza, then that means Zaza not with him. Okay. So You said that you was trying to avoid him on the phone call when he was calling you, but when him and his mom came to pick up Zaza, y'all came outside and you spoke to not only him, but you spoke to his mother too. I just thought all of that was a little strange, but key. Okay, so let's keep going. And another thing is, she also said that when Rashad Jamal came to pick up Zaza, um, he didn't come in the house and his mom was with him. Okay, now they're talking about after this incident has went down, Rashad has came and got Zaza. Um, now she's telling her mom, okay, look, mom, this has went down. I don't know if you know, but such and such and such and such allegedly has transpired. She said when she told her mom fell out. A mystery fell all out on the floor. Okay. Now she's also saying that this is when her sister as well walked in the door. Okay, because she had an older sister as well. So now I'm guessing a mystery, which is Rashad Jamal's baby mama. She done called his sister. She done got on the phone and she on the phone with his sister. Let's see what's going on. Reflection. Hit the like and subscribe button. Okay, so now she said that yes, she was also on the phone with his sister. So the attorney asked, okay, so when you were having a conversation with your mom, she said, uh-huh. She said she was talking to Rashad Jamal's sister. She said, yes, ma'am. And Rashad Jamal's sister is her last name blank, blank, blank. She said, I don't know. She said, okay, but you do know that that is Rashad Jamal's sister, right? She said, yes, ma'am. Okay, so your mom's on the phone talking to Rashad Jamal's sister and she falls out. What happens to the phone call? She's still on the phone because her phone is on the couch. Okay, so Rashad Jamal's sister would have been in a position to hear you talking. She said, yes, ma'am, because my mom had the phone directly pointed at me. So I said it to her and Rashad Jamal's sister. She said, okay, and you don't know that Rashad Jamal's sister was on the phone. She said, yes, ma'am. Okay, so your mom's on the phone, your sister walks in, and your mom tells your sister, or you tell your sister. I tell my sister. Okay, you tell your sister what? I tell her what Rashad made me blank, blank, blank. Okay, so the prosecutor asked you about the police coming to talk to you. Do you remember talking to the police officer? She said, yes, ma'am. Okay, the prosecutor also asked you about going to the treehouse, right? She said, yes, ma'am. We're gonna stop right here when they're talking about the treehouse reflection, okay? And we're gonna come back on part 3. All right, so a lot has transpired. A lot has transpired from day one. A lot of things has changed. Reflection, okay. Now we know that Rashad Jamal's mom was present when she was picked when he came to go pick up Zaza. Okay. Now we also know that even after these two incidents, there was still repeated, whether it was on the phone, video call. She spoke to Rashad Jamal when he came to pick up Zaza. Okay. Now we also know that listen, she has had a history of watching inappropriate things, okay? And her brother. All right. So in day one, I was like, why? How do they know the scientific name? How do they know about all of this stuff? How do they know the scientific name of the stuff that come out of the volcano? How do they know this? Okay. So we kind of clarified a couple of things, a couple of questions that I was asking were concerns really that I was having from day one. Okay. Keep in mind we all are raised different. Reflection. We cannot judge anyone. All right. But sometimes instead of just pointing the finger, you need to know why people are doing things they do. Okay. How do you know these things that you know? Why do you feel the way that you feel? Okay. Now, in day 3, we're going to go even deeper reflection. If you thought we got deep today, will join me back for part 3. Okay. Now, we're going to talk more about what happened on this conversation on this phone call with Rashad Jamal's sister as well. Okay. So I'm curious to know, what do you think, reflection? What do you think it's gonna go down in day 3? Do you think more stuff is going to change in the story? Do you think it's more stuff that is going to come out? What do you think is about to go on? Okay. And is her story staying the same to you? Is it changing up a little bit? What do you think is going on? Keep in mind this is still 11-year-old. Okay. But we still have to look into the facts. All right. So with that being said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Until next time, Ashe.